All right. Now that Keith's back, we're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. It's 1:31 Central Standard Time, Chicago, and we're going to start a budget workshop. And because Ms. Southwell has already said she is not going to be here for that, then we're going to skip right over and head up.
I saw nothing that garnered any attention.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything. So anyway, maybe she just saw us enough this morning. She didn't need to see us anymore. So with that, Darcy, you're up.
Wow.
All right. I hope you have your spiel ready because we're ready for you. Maybe.
Should be some warm-ups. Let's start with saying, boy, do I have a deal for y'all. So, I am asking for an increase in a couple of lines. 4310 and 4330, those aren't increases that I'm asking for. Those are the office supply and the general supplies. I'm talking to Ruby, those are just going to be split up. It's the same amount, but we're just going to be splitting the office supply and general supply lines. So we'll do 3,500 on the 4310 and 2,000 on the 4330.
So you're really not asking for nothing? That's a break even look like that.
We're done then, right?
Next.
She's looking good.
Well,
You did good on that
Klaus?
one too, I'm telling you now.
Judge Klaus, you're in.
Yeah.
we haven't got to the good stuff yet,
Okay.
right? To save y'all money.
Okay.
Just give me a little
Okay.
Save us money.
Save
Yeah,
money,
I love
I just need you to give me a little bit at the beginning, right? So if we go to the continuing education, the 4435, I am requesting $5,000 increase. My education costs just for one of the conferences that I go to every year and I bring all my staff to. It's literally the only conference in the whole state for pretrial services. And so I take my entire staff to this conference. The cost increased this year from $90 per participant. We also have to pay a $75 membership fee in addition to that. But it went from $90 to $250 per attendee. And that's not saying that it's not going to go up again next year, but that's what it was this year, the cost that I already had to pay this year.
So Darcy, you got 6,000 budgeted now. You're going up this 4,000, or you got a total of 4,000 now?
No, we're talking about
We're talking about
continuing
continuing
education.
Yeah, me
Continuing
too.
education.
You're on the wrong line.
You're on the wrong line.
Sorry.
Try pretrial services.
Yeah.
I'm with you now.
All right,
No wonder
the
it doesn't look
435 line. And then next, and that's for the Texas Association of Pretrial Services. And then next year, I'd really like to attend the National Association of Pretrial Services Conference. As I've explained before, there's
Is that Wahoo?
I don't know yet. I tried to look it up. This year it's in Georgia. I put in.
It's on a cruise ship going to
Yeah,
the
all
Bahamas.
inclusive, all
It'd
the
be cheaper
beverages
than
I
hotel
can,
we were staying at.
all the beverages I can drink. This year it's in Georgia. I put in for a scholarship. I put in for a scholarship last year also. I don't know if I'll have gotten a scholarship yet. I still won't know for a couple of weeks. But I do apply for the scholarships, and it would be great. The scholarships are made for counties our size and people that can't really afford to go, and that would pay for hotel, my flight, my stay, my eats, everything. So hopefully I get it, but if not, that's a big part of that cost increase that I'm requesting. We had a couple of people that came from other states to the Texas conference this year, and I learned an incredible amount just from these other people that came from other states, stuff that I can actually apply here. Real world stuff that is working in like Kentucky and these other places.
We have found the same thing, interconnecting, it means more than the conference.
Right, and so if I'm only going to this one Texas conference every year and it's the same people over and over again, I'm still getting something from it, but not like I think I could benefit from going to this national one once every few years. So I'd like to do that next year, and that's the biggest part of that cost.
You want to close? Yes. Yeah, that'd be good.
And I'll say too that I did reduce the capital outlay, my request on capital outlay to the minimum of 5,000. I tried to reduce it to 4,000. They called and laughed at me and said, "Hey, you understand that's 5,000 minimum, right?" So that's
You
it.
just put that in equipment instead.
You know, I need your help with that.
You can fix that?
We can, easy fix.
Okay, then fix that, please.
And then, let's see, I did speak with the sheriff about a vehicle. For instance, yesterday, I'll make this quick. Yesterday, we went on a home visit, which we do rarely, just mostly due to staffing and safety issues. But we did a home visit. I have a guy that's on for a DWI. He has ignition interlock. He's got to blow into this device. He's been blowing hot on some of this stuff with alcohol. But he's got severe medical issues, so I'm not just real quick on wanting to put him in the jail because it's a liability on the jail. He's got a couple aneurysms in his stomach, and he's got a bunch of medical medicines that he's on. So I don't just want
So
to...
is the alcohol a blood thinner then?
Yeah, he should use that as an excuse instead of red wine vinegar that he's going to put in his green beans. But, so yeah, we drove out to Lytle yesterday to visit his house. And I talked to the sheriff, and he said he should have an extra vehicle for us to use if they can quit having accidents chasing all these illegals. But he feels sure that he can come up with a vehicle for us to use. I told him I didn't care what kind of vehicle it is. We're not going to be driving a whole lot. It'll only be an additional cost of about $1,500. I think we can do everything we need to with about $1,000 for the year in fuel, even with fuel costs the way they are, and about $500 for tires, tubes, and batteries. Talking to Ruby, we already have $500 in our repair and maintenance that's already budgeted, and we just convert that over to vehicle costs because we don't use it for our building already.
Right now, you use your personal vehicle and
Right
put in
now,
mileage reimbursement.
We do, and I never put in my mileage. We took Kimberly's truck yesterday, so she'll put in her mileage for it, but yes, sir, that's what we're doing now. And then I wanted to, lastly, for my office, I'd like to take another minute of y'all's time, and I am going to read this from here. Just to share with y'all why I believe that I have the greatest team in the business, and they're well deserving of a pay raise. When I began here 4 years ago, we were supervising about 80 criminal defendants. Today we supervise over 700, well over 700, and it fluctuates. We've been over 900 at times. We haven't been under 700 since we started doing all the things that we do in the office. We're able to handle this number effectively with the staffing and technology that we have in the office. However, knowing that we're about to open the other 96 beds in the jail, and that in order to help pay for that, we want to be able to farm out 50 of those beds to help pay for the jail. And I know that our services are going to be needed even more, and we're ready to do that. Between this and the unfunded mandate of SB 6, I plan to come here today and ask for another staff member. However, talking to my staff about that, and I came back from the Republican convention last week, my staff came into my office and they said, "Hey, Darcy, we want to talk to you." I said, "Oh crap, what? Do I have a mutiny coming on?" And they said, "No, we really don't think we need to have somebody else." And I said, "Well, I think y'all are nuts. I think we really do. Do y'all understand what's about to happen?" And they said, "No, I think we can handle it if, we do this and that." And we started kind of roundtabling how we can reorganize things. And after we had a good lengthy conversation for a couple of hours, I think we figured out how we can do it without having additional staff, and actually even kind of lowering the cost. I took away the case manager 2 position that I did have, and I have 3 case manager 1s now with no case manager 2. So in doing that, I would like y'all to understand what an amazing staff that I have, what they're doing for this community. Nell coming in has already, from the bottom of my heart, believed that she saved this young man's life and helped him to graduate from high school within her first 2 months of working here. He was destined to flunk out of high school, didn't have enough time, to be able to graduate with her first 2 months on the job, was able to get this young man back on the straight and narrow and graduate within 1 week of his class. And that's just one of the things that my staff has done. But I just want to underline the fact that this is only able to be accomplished by my amazing staff that I already have, and that they are truly deserving of a raise. Also want to throw out there about drug court. This doesn't have to do with my budget per se, but I do want to talk about it for a second. And I've been working with Judge Brown, Judge Klaus, and some others around the state, mostly in Bear County, because they have drug court. I've seen it work. I know it works. I was looking at one of the grants just this morning, and we could get $2 million on an NADCP grant. We could do DWIs, drug court, and veterans court. So it's all something we can look into. And I'd love it if we could set up a task force to look into it further. I'd love to be on that task force to help with the grants. And so I know Judge Cox can talk some more about that, but just wanted to put in my 2 cents about that as well.
You still got 20 minutes, so.
Y'all don't want to hear me that long. So, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so now we're going to move on to Judge Klaus, and you are early, thank you, so we may get this done.
We might take another 30 minutes.
You know what, I got a picture. I have a camera on my water trough at the ranch, and I right now have a puddle of water that's about from here to Eduardo.
That's not good.
That's just growing.
That's not good.
It's not, last night it was dry. Today,
Does your wife know how to turn it off?
it's at the ranch. Does she know how to? No. I'll just say no.
That's not gonna happen.
So, anyway, so we might get through in time for me to go fix
Turn
a
it
leak.
off, yeah.
Fix a leak. Can't turn it off, I need water. Go ahead, sir.
Well, what that means is I get an extra 15 minutes, right?
You got till 2:15 if
You got a long time, brother.
Now,
Talk slow.
if you get through early, then we're going to throw Miss Champion right into the fire if Ruben's not here. So, and then we're going to try to get the sheriff here early if we get way ahead of schedule.
He's in Devine, where I was.
Is he coming?
Yes. We were at his mother's birthday lunch. That's cool. How's that?
Well, in that case, were y'all invited?
No.
I was invited to the golf course from Marlin. I missed
What
that.
you think you
I got invited by the daughter, not the
Sorry, Judge, we're just talking around you right now, but you're in. Go ahead.
Well, I actually had a couple of items on that I wanted to address. But I do also want to add to Darcy's comments on the drug court, on the aspect of what we see in magistrations, the number of magistrations on drug charges. It just continues to go up and up and up, everywhere from Class B marijuana possession all the way up to felony one possession, and certainly more and more with the traffic between the border and here. And those cases stay on our jurisdiction as JPs, as the magistrate. They actually stay on our jurisdiction for up until almost such time as they go to court, and that is a long time. And I know because we have to address the issues from the various, from the defendants themselves, from the attorneys, and now with the increase in public defenders, the workload is coming more and more on advocacy for such things as bond or charges, etc. So I'm strong in here, not only the drug court, but the DWI court, and I don't deal much with the veterans thing, but I do know that Ruben works very, very hard at it. We get involved in the inquest area. If a veteran dies, we get involved in like the death certificate, thing like that, in order to enhance or make the benefits to the survivors more accessible. So I strongly believe in this. I've had several talks with Judge Brown about it, who did sit on the drug court in Bear County. It also takes a load off County Court at all, and they're pretty heavy dockets.
On that subject matter, what I would suggest, I have, Judge Brown and I have been missing each other for about 2 weeks. Calling her, she called me, and we don't seem to be able to talk, but I would highly suggest that she go and sit with the district judge and the CCL judge. Because technically, she's taken work that is their work to create a drug court. So I would just suggest that
Well, yeah.
it's got to start with those two judges wanting to do that. So I'm just throwing that out as a suggestion, because that's what I'll tell her
Yeah,
when I,
just a major thing that.
whenever I do talk to her.
Their dockets on, then something a lot more serious thing. I would think they want, they would be much in favor of it, but, I don't know, I was.
No, but I wouldn't assume that. I would just go make sure that they're in the loop, because it starts with them
I was speaking.
and ends with us.
We should have been here with Darcy this morning, but they're in a conference in College Station. I'm the only JP around this,
You don't need education anymore?
you know.
Okay.
184 days, I got it.
At noon on Saturday, we'll be halfway there.
Sir?
Noon on Saturday, we're halfway there.
There you go.
The second thing is, wanted to ask for upgrading status on the part-time person that I've had forever, or at least a position, because I've had several in that position. I can't keep them because the first time a full-time position comes up, our work level's increased. It's increased not only with the revenue part of the side of the issue, which I'm not going to address, but implementation of things such as the Damon Allen Act, which came into being this year on January 1st, regarding auto reform, has really put a load on. Everything now has to be tracked, reported, scheduled. The magistrations all the way up to reporting, all the way up to the time of the claim.
Never had to do that before?
No, sir. Had to do the magistration, never had to report. Never.
That's right, anyway.
There's aspects of that are not yet complete here in this county. We're still going along on it. But the county's not fully implemented it from the sheriff's department side. The magistration side, we pretty well got a handle on it. But from that side over there, which is also going to increase the workload on the office. We have a 29-hour employee, which if the full-time employee is out for vacation, sick, FMLA, whatever, means the office is not functioning at full capacity. And I'm going to tell you guys, I'm asking for this for the person that comes behind me. I can deal with it. I can handle it. But the person that comes behind me is going to have a hell of a time coming in with all this new stuff, which he doesn't know it's new stuff, but it's going to hit him like a ton of bricks. He's going to have experienced clerks kind of guide him a little bit. It's so much different than when I got elected 16 years ago. I came in 2.5 months, 3 months, pretty much had a handle on it. I can't see even me doing that now. If I was just now coming in, walking in that office and here, you got to do this, you got to do that, this here, you got to do this, you got to have this in my now, you got to have this. It's pretty much for his sake and for the stability of the office.
Didn't you just lose an employee?
Sir?
Did you lose an employee or have
Even
to?
this week.
Your head girl left?
Sir?
No. The part-time, Darcy, the part-time went full-time with Darcy
Okay, the part-time one.
to replace
Okay.
the person
Yeah,
that
and I don't blame
left.
her at all, and she was good. I mean, really good. But she had a chance to go full-time benefits. We're the only office that operates with a 1.5 or 1 2/3 FTEs. Like I said, I can deal with it. I don't have to sit there and believe it, I'm there by myself. I know how to deal with it. I know who to talk to, who not to talk to. I can make a copy, I can do some things, or I can put them on. But it's really, for the efficiency, the functioning of the office, it's really, it's necessary. It's more in the budget. I budgeted, I put in for the budget, I put in for it.
Yes.
Somebody tell me yes. Tell me yes.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, he did request this.
And If we have to hire another part-time now,
Is the part-time?
the idea that maybe y'all are gonna approve the thing and be full-time, maybe not, because we hire part-time if we can find, we have to really sit, because no benefits, no nothing. The best way we make it is if we get a spouse or a county employee, or a spouse or somebody that has full-time benefits. But if you got a really, really good single mother, she's gonna hit it. So I'd like to go ahead. I think we have enough budget in the remaining years as to when we hire this person for this position, that we could go ahead and hire as a full-time, or him, as a full-time employee. Got 3 months to go on the budget. Okay.
All right.
All right, you said all right?
I said, all right, thank you.
Evidently, everything good.
Oh, no, I'm saying, I'm just,
All right, yeah. Let's get it done.
The last thing, guys, now,
did you go to law school
this
too?
is serious. I want y'all to really listen to this. The security at the courthouse is non-existent.
Over here,
Yes, sir.
at yours.
No, not here. Here it's existent. Over there, it's not. And it's really a joke. It's the softest of soft targets. I've done a little bit of my own private security analysis. I have a little bit of background in that, and it is terrible. The response time on the panic button, the fastest time was between 5 and 10 minutes. Since the police department moved out to the airfield, they're not across the street. If Mr. Tapia or Mr. Moore or Mr. McVeigh come running over there, what are they going to do when they get there? Panic button, they don't know what the panic button means.
Take a breath.
Well, they're going to take a breath and that's what's going to show up on the 10 o'clock news, if you understand my meaning. I don't mean to make it light, because it's very important to me. There again, I don't have a long time to go and I can take care of myself. Quite honestly, I'm not afraid. We've got people in that building that the second floor does not know anything that's going on the first floor. We actually had an experience like that about 6 months ago. We had this kind of Jermaine shotgun running around here. The people on the third floor, which there are still some, have no idea what's going on at all. We have 3 points of access, and we have a central control of all the lanes of entry and egress at the cross-section of the hallway. One person right there can control any egress or any ingress or egress from the building. So that's right. There is no way to get out of the second floor except down either one of 2 flights of stairs, which are both observable by a single shooter if there is one. You can't go out the windows, they're painted shut. You try to break those plastics and then take a 10-foot fall. It's just not. When y'all moved over here, I believe that we were advised that there was going to be a deputy over there. Y'all were going to have like 3 over here, one's going to be over there, and they're going to hire her.
I was under the assumption that there was gonna be one over there.
Sir?
I was assuming that there was gonna be one over there, but evidently there's
That
not.
was my assumption and all of our assumption. There hasn't been, except one time we had a jury trial, which was the only time that metal detector was ever put in use. It's standing against the wall and plugged in. That's the only time that's ever been used. And that only would be at one point of entry. If you had a deputy there that kind of could control that access, he could see everything from the hallway. We have the 2 constables. They're not always on duty, and those are actually part-time positions anyway. When they serve as bailiff, they're there. Last month, they were at their conference. Judge House had to get a public defender to act as his bailiff.
To do what?
Act as his bailiff.
A public defender.
Public defender. A body.
Okay.
All right. We haven't ever had a major incident, and that's no excuse not to guard against another one. We used to have a deputy's car vehicle, he's sitting out there in the parking lot. We don't have that. We ain't got nothing. Our doors are wood panel doors, which can be easily kicked open or shot through. You walk off the first floor into precinct 3, you're there.
Bottom line, you would like to see some security.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hiring an additional deputy to, and even if they rotate me here, at least that there was one. At least maybe if we had a vehicle, even if it was an old vehicle, sitting out there, there would be something. Also, the 3 points of entry, Keith and I kind of looked at it and we kind of talked even around like a intercom system or something. It's, if you cut off those 2 for points of entry, the north and the south side, just use the west side as a point of entry, which is basically what it is anyway, everybody goes there. We could do that maybe, but that, you know, it's cutting off access to the people. But at least we have a handicap, one on the west side is a handicap accessible, so you could get away with that.
So the employees could still come in the north side and the south side, and we just make visitors come in on the west side. And how would could we put a camera up and let them push a button to let them in, or keep it locked?
Well, I would judge it, whoever would be there watching and managing that would just have one point of entry. I mean, we really don't have a way to buzz somebody and let them in. And like we was talking about before, the judge, our discussion, I think I might have talked to you about that too. The problem is on the day it's going to be the busiest in there when you have a court, the bailiffs are going to be upstairs. You can't just keep punching people in, and then if we open it up, you know.
Well, the day it's going to be court and there's a bailiff there, couldn't we just unlock it?
Well, he'll be upstairs.
But I'm saying, can you just unlock it because they're going to go upstairs to go to court?
Yeah, but the system to put something in, you have to be able to ring multiple. I want to ring his office, I want to ring this office, I want to ring that
Okay.
office. It's just.
Well, I agree it needs security. We need to talk about it, figure out the best way.
I mean, I think even if it was one bailiff, you know, the amount of traffic now that's going in there, I still think we could reduce it down to one door or 2 at the most, instead of all 3 of them would be.
Maybe we don't need to tell his replacement that his office is on the 2nd floor in his place. Have you seen his replacement? You know,
You're not fitting through no window.
Phil Lange, he'll throw you through a window.
He'll throw you through a window.
He's a huge guy.
I told
So-
the girls, get behind Mr. Lange.
Mr. Lange will certainly,
Take care of the
he could
situation.
act like a bailiff, because I have no doubt, I've seen him in action, he's pretty strong.
And keep in mind, even the judge is not there all the time.
Yeah.
But one other point is, every person that works in that building right now comes in contact at least once a day with a felon, accused felon or a convicted felon or whatever, either the clerks, the judges, the constables.
Gina.
Should I start?
No, you're good, I
We got
heard every
15, we
word.
got 15 more.
I heard
minutes.
every word,
Yeah.
I just didn't want our poor veteran service officer to
They
stand
come
out
in
there.
contact with their, and I'm thinking about the building defenders, they're taking on half, at least half of the arrestees. in
Yeah.
the county. At
I
least
agree
half,
with you.
Maybe more. And maybe they're not getting my guy's bond reduced, or maybe they're not giving him off, or maybe they're not doing this, maybe he's had a bad day. Whatever's going to happen may not happen for a long time, but sometime it is going to.
Again, the bottom line is we need to address the security situation.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay,
And that, well, I have a few more things.
We got 15 more minutes.
I'm going to cede my 15 minutes to Ms. Champion.
We want you to, this was interesting.
you're now ceded it to Mr. Gonzalez.
Ruben?
He's next in line, so, and then we get to Ms. Champion.
And so ceded.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
You're next, buddy.
You're on.
I got here early.
You were here early. Thank God you're early, you know?
And Randy told me he's on the way.
It's like a wrestling match, time your hits.
What's that thing about the early bird gets the worm? There you are.
Which side of the court tends to agree with anything? Work the house.
I just felt the love right there.
I know, right?
I just felt the love. Well, thank you, Judge, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it. I think I just want to make sure that handouts were submitted. I hope I did submit. Do you have this?
We do.
Perfect. Perfect. Before I get into that, just because it's recent news, the judge asked me to maybe put it in an additional opportunity, but just so you kind of have an idea, you're getting the preview. If I can get this. So every year, I get a chance to be able to come in front of you and actually provide you an insight of what's going on in a sense of VA expenditures inside of our county. So just a quick summary in the very bottom, if you look where it says the change, that tells you the change that we have made in 2021, from 2020 to 2021. So it takes them a few months to go ahead and put this together. Of course, here we are in June, and they went ahead and published it earlier this week. So just wanted to point out that our team is doing a great job across the board, taking care of our veterans, our widows, their families, by being able to make a difference on there. And we take a little bit of pride in everything that we can do. So you can notice from FY 2016 to where we're at, we've gone from $41 million, so we bring into the county, to $69 million to this county that we can actually allow the veterans to be utilized for different things. That includes expenditures to include medical care. So you notice where our doctors, our physician assistants, we went from 11 million to now we're bringing in about $20 million from the VA money into our healthcare facilities and mental health facilities here in our county. So this is a great thing. I just wanted to point it out. I will come back and make it a little bit more formal, but just so you kind of get an insight of what your Veteran Services team is doing and making a difference in other people's lives. Here recently, we actually did get one of the biggest wins, cases that we won for one of our veterans that was unjust, things that happened a few years ago, and we were able to fix that. His back pay that he actually got for the error that was done was $408,000. That's not even counted in here. This is here recently. And that's straight going back to the veteran because there was a miss-up in the VA in taking care of him and taking care of his health care benefits and everything that went along with that. But busy, as you can tell, still making a difference. And one of the things that we've noticed is that we keep actually transporting, going different places, taking care of our veterans. We've had a lot more visiting folks at their homes and taking care of those opportunities. I know Commissioner Sitter has asked in the past of certain people to make sure that we take care of them. It's been very busy. But with that comes usage of vehicle.
What is the number of veterans that you serve outside of Medina County?
Outside of Medina County, in a sense of them coming over, I will tell you that it's less, but we have gotten approximately about a third, sometimes up to a half of our count. I don't have the exact numbers, Commissioner, but we do not, our rule is we do not go to them. So the transportation costs, what I put on there that in the last few years that the county has reimbursed $12,000, that is the only times that we ask for reimbursement is if we have to go in to take care of VA business in San Antonio or something. That is not visiting veterans inside of Bexar County. So the majority of that, when you look it up, it's basically inside the county, traveling inside the county. We do get some assistance when we actually have our training. The auditor actually allows us to use their vehicle to go ahead and go into training. We jump in the little car and we go there. And that meets for travel purposes. The issue is more, I use my vehicle just because in the back I can throw a wheelchair, I can throw equipment. I've gone over to San Antonio, gotten the lifts for electric scooters. There's a nonprofit organization over there that will give us equipment like that for free for our veterans. So it's refurbished. It's not brand new.
I was going to ask you why you needed a truck, and maybe you just answered that for me, as opposed to any vehicle that might be more readily available. But if you're hauling equipment or picking up stuff, or that'd be the reason why the truck was requested as opposed to anything else?
That's correct, Commissioner. That is correct.
He had a direct line on a truck that's,
You know,
from somebody that shares his office
I
with him.
think that probably,
But there's.
He
there's
told
a-
me, he
there
stole
is
his truck, but
a
he
truck thief
said he ain't got it yet.
amongst us. So, poor Ruben had it all worked out and
Yeah,
somebody
Ruben,
else.
he told me he did not steal your truck, he's not got it yet. So
No,
all
we're still
that,
waiting
you give me
for-
some false information there.
So thank you for the transition. You will notice that on my statement in the note in the bottom, I did ask for us to keep the line item for reimbursement of mileage, just because even with the truck that the environmental health folks have ordered, it's been delayed. It's taken a long time for that vehicle. So if we do place the order for the truck, I don't see that coming in anytime soon, so it would still be, it'd be good to have one more year, but just getting the reimbursement for the mileage that goes along with that. And the price, what is on there is basically taking what Pat had ordered with his brand new truck and then contacting the vendor, and they added a few extra $1,000 in there. The other stuff is basically just talking and getting help from the auditors. So thank you, Edward, with the line items, with the fuels and all that. I went ahead and asked for an estimate based on usage, and those numbers were with the help of them of what I can estimate to go ahead and utilize that. So for your consideration, we would appreciate it. We would actually have it in our busiest office out of Castroville. So on the days like today where I had to come to Hondo and take care of 2 veterans, I would park my vehicle there in Castroville and then jump on the truck and then head over this way. And then use it throughout the day where I was doing the Medina Triangle tour, and those have been
So in other words, it's gonna be housed at the Catfield office.
at your building. Yes, sir. That is correct. It's going to be parked there, and then we'll just use it from there. That's where we spend the majority of the time, and it would be coming this way. The only time would be on the days that we go to Devine. So we would go up to Cassville, jump on the truck, and then.
So you go from Lytle to Castro and get the truck, come to Lytle?
Well, that's where the truck is going to be. So I mean, it's
Yeah,
a fair,
4
it's a
miles
fair, it's a fair thing to do. You know, in a sense of being able to utilize it. No, but I appreciate your assistance if it's doable within the budget to get some help with that. It would be a huge help for us, and it would make it a lot easier and less wear and tear on personal vehicles. I'll try to do that. On the rest of the budget, there was no changes whatsoever. Everything was pretty much the same. It was just basically the addition of the truck and then the few things to go ahead and take care of the line items in case we do get the truck. I stand for any other questions that you have.
Ruben, all I can say, from the day you walked in my office looking for something to do with the county, thank God we got you here.
Yeah, your office
You
has
have
done,
been, you have been a blessing.
your office has done a great service to the veterans of Medina County. Appreciate the heck out of what y'all doing. All of them, all 3 of you.
Thank you, Commissioner, and you guys. I mean, you have given us the spaces that we need. You donated your old office. That is a home run, you know, for us, being able to have that office right there in that building. It makes it a lot easier, a lot more personal, and a lot more private, so we can take care of those.
Don't get no ideas, you ain't getting my office.
Your office is a very nice.
Larry
We're
is
good.
not like that.
Where we're at right now is really good. And actually, I would
You're not
like
getting
to,
Larry's
Keith is going to help us out here in the near future. We're going to go ahead and put the emblem on the outside of the, and when we do that, and we can kind of say it's all finished, I would like to have a little grand opening. I know that we've gotten Texas Veterans Commission interested in coming down to be there. We've had a congressman also excited to be able to be down there too. And it means even a little bit more of us being in the election, right? So it's like they really want to be there. So we've gotten a little bit of a few folks, but thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ruben.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Come see me next week about the Lytle bus routes.
Look forward to it, Commissioner. Thank you so much for your help. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Julie.
Thank you. Hey, would you reach out to Stephanie Rubin about, yesterday I was with Tom Long and we're looking at sites and Stephanie said you have one over by Lytle. Would you just call her and tell her where it's at?
Yes, I already did, Judge.
You did?
I already did. I already showed her the map and everything.
Okay.
You're the man.
Well, then, you don't need to do that anymore. Thank you.
So, that'll be good. Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Ms. Champion.
Well, if y'all just want to say yes, we can avoid the whole thing.
We don't want to take, I don't want you to take up all, what do you got? Oh my God, you got a lot of time here. 35 minutes.
Well, one thing I can say is, I don't have the gift of gab like my husband, so y'all are blessed with that.
Wait, who's blessed?
Do y'all still have these that I gave you the other day? I brought extras just in case. I gave them.
Well, you said you changed it.
Yes.
Okay.
It's like a book. I mean, how much in
I
copy?
gave you a
How much
sheet.
in copier cost did we have to do this? Oh, all right.
Okay, so I put in here, I did have a change of heart. I put 8,800.
For what?
8,800 on the increase in salaries. I had originally wanted to ask for 10,000. And then I changed it to 8,800, but I would like to go back to the original thought of my 10,000. The reason I say that, I was just thinking maybe I was being a little too conservative with what I was asking for after listening to everyone's requests. I'm not trying to be greedy. I believe what I'm requesting is a fair amount to ask for, and I would like for you to take that into consideration after listening to some of what I have to say. I realize that I'm being quite conservative, considering that the amount my office brings in just in online certified copies in revenue alone is right at the $10,000 mark. That's just in certified copies. I believe that that will increase over time because that is something that's just been going on for a little over a year. And then that revenue in itself was just beginning in, was May?
Can I ask you a question about your salary, your positions? Are they all maxed out in your
Yes.
salary? They are? Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Some of them aren't, yeah, and there's still one more month.
Do what, I'm sorry?
Some of the departments have not maxed their employees out yet, they're still wanting more money.
No, they are. They are maxed, yes.
You're the first.
Do what?
You're the first.
I'm the first? Okay. Well, they are.
Okay.
And anyway, so these, I know will increase these certified copies just because of the growth of the county, the way it's going. These certified copies are going to increase only because of the fact that these are all things that we're going to increase with court documents, probate things that people request online, land records, all these types of things that people request for certified copies for.
Am I missing a page here on the last one here?
I don't know.
I don't either, but you've got the total here that you bring in 9,026.
Yeah, that's just the last page. This is the whole thing. I didn't
I don't
want
see
to.
it.
If you want to look at it, this is the whole year. But yeah, the 9,000 is the total amount in document charges that we brought into the county. The 3,000, the 620, and the 13,000 is the total charge. The convenience fee is what COFI would get. The $620 is a certification fee, and I'm not sure who gets that. Probably, I'm not sure. But anyway, the 9,000 is what the county has received, and that was up to May of 2022.
It looks like your biggest customer is the prison department.
Yeah, they don't charge. I don't charge them.
Yeah,
You should.
I should, but that's another thing I'm looking into right now.
There you go.
So, because as you can see, there's zeros
Yeah.
right there. That's something else I'm going to be looking into, because because I don't know if they pass anything on to customers or not. So, that's something I definitely want to look into further. Let's see, what was that? I'd like to include this amount with the COLA, of course. I'd like them to be able to get this raise and then include the COLA on top of that. I think that would help everyone, especially with where we're at these days on this recession that we're going through.
How many employees do you have?
Huh?
How many employees do you have?
I have 9. Yeah. Where they're at in their longevity and their experience level, I think the pay rates that I could get them to, dividing this all up amongst them, would put them at a level that would be fair to all of them. I can divide it up amongst all of them, not equally, of course, but at their levels, where they're at with their experience and longevity. The records management position, I would like to raise that up to approximately between the $1,560 to $1,600 range. I have one position there right now.
Who is that person?
That's Seth Dixon. He is currently doing all of my financial reports. And once he gets all of that down to a science and gets it all figured out, I'm going to be adding more responsibilities on for him as well.
Is he catching up on those?
Oh, yeah.
Are we caught up?
He's
Getting
doing
close?
good.
We're not caught up.
We're not caught up, but yeah, no, but he's catching on and doing well with it. Him and Ruby are working well together. Talked with Ruby and she's pleased with what he's doing. So, let's see. I would also like to try to put in a part-time position within that budget line also. That's a records management position, which that's that special fund I have. I'd have to bring that to y'all for approval, of course, because by statute it has to be agreed upon by both the commissioners and myself. If I can have a part-time position, if I can find somebody that's willing to work part-time, that would help me a lot with being
Maybe
able...
you could share it with Judge Klaus.
No, I'm not sharing.
A part-time. Then they could be full-time.
I can't share out of that line, sorry. But that would help, especially when I have people out for doctor's appointments, sick, vacation, unexpected things like funerals, whatever, things like that. It helps to have someone in to fill in when somebody else is out or more than one person is out. I will bring that to y'all probably sometime in August for that request. But the increase in salary, I would like to be able to bring that one up. I believe, I can't remember what that salary is right now. It's right around $16 and change, somewhere around there.
It's pretty bad when the sheriff can't get into our...
Well, he can, but I put that stopper there so
Never good if the sheriff can't come in.
On the paper I gave y'all a short rundown on the job duties that we usually handle on a daily basis. That's not everything that we do in our office. There are many items that come up that are on a rare occasion that wind up taking up quite a bit of time. We get it handled, we take care of it, we deal with it and get it done. But these that are on here are daily things that everyone handles. these are things that are required by our office to handle, that it have training that are required by the state, by the County District Clerks Association, by Texas College of Probate Judges. There's all kinds of training that goes along with what these women and men are required to do. So their knowledge is not just that of, say, you know, any clerk. It's valuable to what we do in this office. And it also applies to the court system. As Judge Cash mentioned in reference to all the court cases that are being processed through his court, there is a great deal going on. He's absolutely correct. And it has increased substantially. But it should also be noted that every single one of those cases that are filed through the county, they are all filed through the county clerk's office first. They are received by us, assigned a case number, issued a citation if necessary, depending on the type of case. There may be other documents that are required to be completed before being forwarded to the county court at law office. All of the paperwork must be completed before our office can submit it to the judge's office, or they will send it back to us, and we are required to make contact with the attorneys to make sure they get us the proper documentation. Then we, in turn, resubmit it back to the county court at law office. Once the judge's office receives it completed, they then assign a date on the docket for the case. This process includes all court cases: criminal, civil, juvenile, probate, and guardianship. So our employees are of great value to the county, and I would very much like to reward them for their knowledge and what they do for numerous offices throughout the county.
Question,
Yes.
because I hear this from people. Used to, y'all were open over the lunch hour, you've staggered lunches, and that's usually when people take off around the town, they come here at noon on their lunch hour to do business. Is there any way you can open it back up to have that back to staggering? Because I hear it at least once a month now, but
I hear it once a week from
and
hours.
I hear it from people saying, you know, I take off work
I
to
can
go.
do that. It would help to have a part-time employee to help get that staggering, doing that.
Because I know you used to.
Yeah.
People leave at 11:30, come back at 12:30.
problem
People leave at 12:30, come
Really
back at
started
1:30.
occurring when people were off, because it would just be an issue with people being off for doctor's appointments or out sick or this or that. And then you can't have less than 3 people in an office at a time, because you've got the money situation. You've got to have more than 3 in there. You know, you've got to be able to account for having accountability on the money. You know, somebody there to watch more than one person at a time for all of that. Yeah, that could be something that would be definitely considered.
I know the public would like it.
I've not had anyone ask me about it, so.
I've just had people tell me about it, and I've been meaning to ask you about it. I just never
If
have.
they
But
would come to me and talk to me about it, I'd be more than glad to talk to them about it, and I'd love to hear it myself, because no one has brought it to my attention.
yeah,
But yeah, absolutely. That's
Well, the
something.
problem is a lot of times people are gonna call and chew us out about something they're gonna call one of us for real quick.
Yep.
Yeah, tell them to call me. I mean,
And I know, like, Beverly over here at the church, she's tried to come up with somebody, and of course, y'all were closed. I was like, well, it's not my office, so.
yeah.
You know, talk to Ms. Champion.
Yeah, no, I get it, because I get emails all the time on stuff that's handled by y'all's office, and I send them back y'all's information of who to contact for stuff on roads, on subdivisions, on all kinds of stuff. And I need to contact this commissioner or that commissioner all the time, so I get that, but
I'm
if
glad you do that versus you trying to solve their problem, and that just pisses
Oh, no.
them off even more.
No, it's not my problem to solve. have issues.
I send with y'all too. That's not my problem.
No. All I do is copy and paste and put y'all's number and information. It's all yours after that.
Put that stopper in so they can get in.
Yeah,
Other door, other
Put
door.
it down there, but it
Put that stopper in, look,
put the stopper in so we
Put
can
it on the other
And-
side of the door.
Open the door on the magnet, let it open it.
open the door and close the other one.
Yeah.
Jennifer,
He can figure it out.
there's a magnet on that door.
Yeah, there we go.
Technology. It's freaking awesome.
got it there.
Just throw it by that door. There you go.
I feel just fine because there's a 45 sitting right there on that man's hip. So I'm feeling okay. So, anybody have any questions? Perfect. Perfect. Well then, thank you very much.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
And Sheriff, since you're here, we're going to skip Przybylski because I don't see him here. And I'll let you go and then Przybylski can go after you if that's all right with you.
I'm just here for questions and a couple of comments. So
Come on up.
Hey, Judge, just if you don't mind before Sheriff goes, because I know he's going to be talking vehicles, and you've already been talking vehicles. I've been checking on status on our vehicles, and I literally just got some info when it goes. So just to recap the report, because he was talking, Ruben's point a while ago about how long it might take to get something. We submitted, I just went back in my email to make sure, October the 8th of last year, we submitted the POs. So as soon as we could in the process, we submitted POs in order of all of those vehicles, the 9 Tahoes, the F-250 for my department, Pat's F-150, all that stuff at the same time. We have 8 of the sheriff's vehicles that are over there now that we just got equipment for yesterday to be able to complete them. They're telling me that the 9th one is there, but I can't verify that.
So they are in.
they're not here.
Not here
We're-
physically, they're in Caldwell.
They're being equipped.
At the upfitter. But Pat's truck is now for sure, and again, this was put in October, it is going to be a 2023 model. I have a letter from Ford now that they just sent me. My truck that is already scheduled, that should be here right now, is delayed and quite possibly will be coming in 2023. The letter also states, they go through the whole thing, this is Ford, that, because of the cost increases and all that, there's no price protection and guarantee. Normally, if they have to shift the order to the next year, they protect our pricing. They're saying, no, that's not going to happen. So I'm just saying, Pat's truck is going to have a price increase that we need to be thinking about. If my truck doesn't make it, it's going to have a price increase.
How about the sheriff's cars? Are they paid for it?
The sheriff's
Tahoes?
sheriff's cars are already paid. I mean, those are.
We're good.
We're going to be okay with the exception I need to check on the one. But more than that, we're talking about now, this budget year, that we couldn't even get, most of this stuff is now, there's thousands of orders that's delayed. Normally, you never see this out of the auto manufacturer. So there's no telling how many they're pushing in 2023. Now we're going to go ask for more Tahoes and all of this stuff. Not to mention that our pricing, we have no.
And we haven't got what we wanted last year yet.
Yeah, as a normal rule, 3 to 5%, you could, probably 3% would be safe on these vehicles. I don't know what to expect on what's going to happen. It's a complete train wreck right now. So,
Okay.
just,
So, we're gonna ask to order early.
Well, I think we will want to do that, Edward, and what he means is before October 1. And how can we do that to put it?
I think we had talked to Keith, I don't know what Cole will need, but if I understood it correctly, we could submit a request for 10 vehicles. And then they can submit that request to the manufacturer. If, once we agree on 8 vehicles, we end up not buying 2, they don't care, because they'll still
actually,
have
that's not true anymore.
That was the last
Well,
time.
we're living, again, the whole automobile business is totally changed. Today, the dealers are now in a position, and this is crazy, but if they don't deliver that vehicle to who they ordered that vehicle for, I think it's a 2-strike and you're out. Like literally, they quit. They penalize. They won't send them vehicles. It's that. The whole deal is that messed up. So if we commit to whatever the number is, as soon as we know the number, I think the sheriff's point, as soon as we know the number, our only prayer here is that we don't wait until October, because we know all governments are doing that. So can we get far enough ahead of that to get them in before all the others and hope that we're leading into this?
So Sheriff, my wife is getting a new car today. Do you need a Suburban? We probably we could sell you one.
Well, we could use it.
It's running good.
Never been in an accident.
I'm sorry, the car thief here is going after the Suburban.
Throw his hand up, huh?
I didn't even tell him the price yet, okay?
Yeah, it don't matter.
That's about one the market has got.
Actually, it's already been wrecked once, they have a head start.
It's already got the value on it. So question, we ordered 10 vehicles last year. How many of them, how many were?
9 Tahoes.
9 Tahoes in
And
the
a
truck.
patrol truck.
Right,
We have that.
And we
and the
have,
truck came in. And the 9 Tahoes, did you have 3 new deputies and then 6 replacements? Or do you, I don't remember now what we did last year.
2 deputies.
2 deputies, so 2 new Tahoes to go with the deputies. And then we'll replace 7 Tahoes that are just aging out of the system.
Right.
That need
The
to,
deputies get the U-Boats.
We can try.
get a Yugo?
Yeah.
Are they on back order too?
We better get several, dozen to hold back.
That would be a disposable car.
Yeah.
No, the Bentleys were pretty good cars back
There,
then.
there is something I'd like to look at, and Keith, that we've not done it yet, but the Sheriff's Association has a buying program now. And we might let them at least look and see what they could do money-wise, and it's all, I think you'll find, if you go to the Sheriff's Association, Edward, you'll find that they meet all the criteria.
yeah,
They've grown pretty good. They've also got it in some other things besides vehicles, but vehicles are one of the big things they're trying to help out all the different sheriff's offices with, so we might could look at that.
Do they buy from the same place?
yeah, well, they don't buy through the manufacturer, I mean, it doesn't.
Not through Caldwell?
No, sir, no, they're direct setup, they're like it's almost like a dealer, basically, they're buying on fleet, but it doesn't help. That problem has zero to do with availability of the manufacturer. No matter what we do, we have the deal.
They've got an upfront cost. This is what it's going to cost. It's pretty simple.
Okay.
Going back to your question, we could do it as long as y'all agree on a set number. We would be able to report that as a prepaid expense for the following budget.
That's what I would want to do. But let me ask you this, if you order it, do we pay for it when we order it?
No, sir.
Yeah, so we can order it,
With
and as soon as we come up with a number, we can order it in August, right?
As soon as y'all approve a specific number.
I mean, we can order it whenever we figure out what that number is going to be and get it started. And so I would just say y'all need to start working on that.
that's
that
a
order.
one-time invoice because of the charges, right? So when we come up with the number, it's one purchase order.
One purchase order, because they got that live order.
Yeah.
It's just one.
Yeah, out of the
You don't allow them to have fun?
from last year, only one bid for it.
Randy, you're the only one ordered a tractor last October. Both got it today. Now it's gonna be October.
Well, and it's not just the vehicles. Watch guard was a hold up on some of it too because they didn't have the camera stuff that we needed. So we just got that in. So we should be getting those vehicles pretty quick. But we're a year late.
And you got how many vehicles are in the shop right now getting fixed?
8.
8 of them from just chases and?
Oh, no. That are, probably 2, and then there's one sitting at the sheriff's office
Okay.
that they still have to come in.
It sounds like you might be able to nurse some along for a while.
Might what?
Nurse some along for a while. I don't know when we're gonna get these vehicles in. It just,
Oh,
there ain't nothing else we can do.
We are nursing them along.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, that cost us an engine the other day.
we all understand that.
Yeah.
So,
You ain't got them, you ain't got them. Just, it's just the way it is today. I don't look for it any better.
I don't see that.
Drive by Chaparral Ford over here, or speak to last one. That's sickening.
They have 3 new vehicles on the line.
That's it?
As of 2 days ago.
I don't see your light out of this here, but I've got one at the yard.
one of the things that kind of interests me is the repair and maintenance line. Every time I see that you send somebody over for an $80 oil change, I'm wondering how much we can do that in-house.
Probably have.
At least, and I've got it set up over there, I've got the equipment to do it, I've got the manpower. I don't know why we couldn't do that in-house. Cut it from 80 to 40 bucks, and you've got 20 vehicles, you know, that's quite a bit. That's
I don't have no problem with it. We can pull in there and get it done and go.
Anyway, I was curious about that. I did talk to you the other day, and the breakfast you bought didn't sway my opinion.
Yeah, that was my plan.
But I understand the patrol clerk position that you're requesting.
Yes, sir.
If that will speed up the process of these cases getting to court, I don't know why it would be something that we wouldn't want to add to the
It would
list.
be.
And I'm not going to bring up the Great Oak case that's 4 or 5 years out, but that's.
Still waiting on the answer on that, but we talked about how I'm gonna fix that.
Yeah.
There's a couple things. I don't know, somebody in here probably ain't gonna want to hear this, but why does a highway patrol secretary make more than mine do? Because I promise you, they work 10 times harder than a highway patrol secretary. Just a question. I don't know why.
I don't know why.
I don't either. And they got more than most that actually need them. And I'm not knocking what they do, but I know that they can't hold a candle to work.
It's the same way with the commissioners of Bear County making $165,000 a year, and they don't have a road department. They come in once a week to a meeting, and that's it. And they have a full-time staff take care of every answer they got. You have to make an appointment with them a month ahead of time to find a date. Ask me why.
Can you?
Yeah, a lot of it don't make sense.
With my list over at the office too, and find out what the difference is. But, you know, and I agree with you.
Quite a bit.
I think if those are the same positions countywide, they'll be based.
I would think so. Really, otherwise, I'm here to answer questions. I'm not here to bore y'all with what I'm asking for. I do have some good news that I'm trying to accomplish. I don't know, it's all in the early stages, but I've been talking with the U.S. Marshal Pamerlew about contracting out bids, and she's excited. She's hooking me up with her team that does those contracts, and hopefully when we swing the doors open, we'll be able to have enough jailers to lease out 50 beds. And if you do 50 beds, if you shoot it low at $55 a day and calculate that, I don't have it in front of me, but it's good.
It's about $750,000.
It takes a sinking ship. That's what we are. You just throw money into us, and it actually makes it float for a little while or helps. So I'm hoping to do that, and maybe, you know, if we could go for 3 years, and as we start to build our own population, we may have to renegotiate and make it 30 beds or whatever, but maybe we can do that until we're having to add on to the jail. Maybe we can make that happen. She gave me a handshake. They won't do a contract until the doors are open. So that's a good possibility to actually, for the sheriff's office to, maybe the first time ever, earn a little bit of money.
No, that's, and as y'all know, we only budgeted for half of that, just because, so if you could, I think we budgeted 372, and but it would be about 750 if he gets 50 people in.
Well, then,
every day.
50 people, it'd just be 50 spaces.
50 beds, 50 beds at $55 a day for
9 months.
9 months is about 750. But when you take it next year, when y'all are budgeting, not you, it's over $1 million. 50 beds at
50 beds, whether
$55
there's
a
anyone in
day.
it or not.
And how many more staff is that gonna take to take care of that?
No, it's same.
Same staff.
He's
Same.
hiring to staff the whole jail, so they're going to be there
They're gonna be there.
regardless. Yeah.
That was the hard part. The marshal, he lives in Yancey, he's retired now. He said the hard part back when Uvalde was building their new jail was they wanted to finish out half and leave half and then finish it out later. We talked about that in the early beginning of our project. He said the hardest thing was to get them convinced to build it, staff it, and they did, and guess what? They've been housing federal inmates for quite some time now.
I have learned if you build it, they'll come.
That's it.
Mhm.
And
We're better proximity, closer to San Antonio, because they're really going between San Antonio and Del Rio, and then whatever Uvalde's doing, so we'll be the closest stop from San Antonio. Every now and then I'm housing one overnight whenever they get them, because they have to take them to Guadalupe County to go that direction, because he's housing some over there, so week he is. So I'll let them house them here overnight. They're not population, and then they'll haul them the next day, because they're usually, a lot of times when they're doing those arrests, they're late night operations. So
What about, does Kerr County house anything?
I don't think Larry is.
Just curious.
I do not believe it. They added on a while back, but
Oh, they got 325 beds.
yeah. And David added on, and Atascosa, so they're not housing any.
Right. And they're both,
Wilson County did for the longest time. I don't think they are anymore. But they
Yeah.
They did for the longest time.
Kerr County does not have pretrial services and has 70 people a day more than the sheriff does, which shows you how well pretrial services work.
It does.
And so if we keep them at it, they can have free beds. So,
Darcy's probably already been before y'all. I'm gonna,
yeah,
she's on top of the list if we have something that still runs when the time
Car.
comes.
Mhm.
It's
Thank
hers.
you.
It's theirs. So
okay.
it may be a pickup truck. She said, I don't care what it is.
Will it have wheels?
What
Yeah.
about these seizure vehicles? Are they any of them worth saving?
Vehicles?
Yeah. Out of the 112 you've got in my yard, are any of them any good?
Some are good. A lot of those are going back to lien holders. And
Well, I understand that, but I mean, as far as-
every now and then we get one. Usually the length of the time that it takes, you take a good vehicle and you put it in a lot. By the time we go through the process, they're pretty well sit there in the sun and they ain't much left. So,
Even that black vet?
no, they had to buy that back.
Oh, they did buy it?
Yeah.
Randy, I appreciate it. It looked like your SRO officers are patrolling. They're doing a fantastic job. I see lots of lights flashing, and that makes me feel good.
You're gonna see even more of that, so everybody's stepping up. And,
It's just, like I say, I talked to a couple of them. They're the part-time RSO yet, and they're doing a good job.
yeah, I've got one thing, and I don't even know if this is the right place, Judge, but it's, has to do with money and, a proposal to help the schools.
Yes?
That I would like to pitch.
No, go ahead.
It's an app called LifeSpot, and, it's pretty amazing. We will be going to Bear County for some training so we can train others. It's free to law enforcement, but it costs 94 cents per user. So if you take every teacher, every faculty member, bus driver, principal, everybody, we, the county, could finance this app for a year for $26,511, 44 cents.
And what does that do?
If,
And that would cover all school districts and their employees,
all school districts.
okay?
We could fluctuate a little bit lower, a little bit higher, but those are the numbers we collected from every school. Even the campuses that are in Atascosa County, because we cover part of the high school is in Medina County, even the campuses that are in Bear County. Bear County's going to it also. So Bear County would see the same thing that we see. So if you're in a school and you're a teacher and something happens, active shooter or just somebody, you see somebody that you don't think is supposed to be there, that teacher, and it's not an accidental set-off. You have to do 3 quick things. And what she does, every officer driving, patrolling gets an alert. All the faculty gets alerts. Those people that are part of the Guardian program after schools that are carrying, they get a special alert. It'll show you what room they're in, and there's so many different things that it'll do. It'll go through dispatch, so dispatch will get the same alert. I wouldn't even be able to start to tell you all the really neat things about it.
So every law enforcement, does it go through the dispatch, or does every law enforcement download it and then it just goes straight to
If you're
the
the
phone?
police and you're driving through Hondo and you're part of this app, which everybody's going to, San Antonio SWAT, SAPD are all going to it. They don't know that they'll ever get all the schools on the same page, but they're working on it. Bear County Sheriff's Office is going to it. So if you were from Del Rio and you're a part of this app, which is free to law enforcement, you're driving through Hondo and someone triggers it, you're going to get that alert that's going to tell you where it's at.
Wow.
And then, if the schools would like to continue, when you break that down amongst the different districts, it's not a lot of money for them to do that, but I think it'd be a good kickstart, something we could put now, so when school comes back in, make them feel a little bit better. And I don't know if any of the monies that are federal money or whatever would fit that.
So is it 94 cents per teacher per month?
For 12 months.
That's
For-
the legal fee.
So that price,
94 cents?
One-time fee.
One-time fee?
one-time fee, there's 2,000 in-person training, and that's kind of a setup fee.
Wow.
I don't know, it was on the news a while back because the San Antonio police SWAT guys were going through a class.
Keep us posted on that, because we are going to try to visit with the superintendents, so
Well, that's one of the things,
it may not be a bad idea to get them
make them feel a little,
all in on that. Yeah.
And this is,
and they're all on board.
They already know about it?
Yeah, they're all on board.
Oh, in that
All the
case,
schools are?
Yes.
and this is zero infrastructure for the county. It has nothing to do with the county. It is the app, everything's hosted.
The app will be the school.
Party. I mean, it's all regulated third party. We have to do.
It's on your phone.
Other than download the app and the people that can download the apps and stuff, that's really it. But all of this, kind of like when we talked about next generation 911, you know, how now you can, the sheriff's phone, it won't be long, they're gonna know he's standing.
So in other words, this here, that's gonna call them direct.
Yeah, so all of the technology's there now to be able to really hone in on where is this phone sending the signal from. So that's how they know what room it's in, it's geolocating everything.
wow. That sounds like a great idea.
Jerry hit on a couple of things, my laundry list of requests, but we visited a while back, and I can tell you all that I do not, when I do lay my head on the pillow, I don't feel like I have enough people to take care of the people in Medina County. I'm talking about deputies, and that's why I've asked for 6 more. And then, when you go down through there, you're going to see that I asked for a rank structure, pay differential. I'm going to do it whether I get the money or not. Donnie's retired. I've never been able to have an actual lieutenant because of me and him. So with that, I'm going to have a captain and 2 lieutenants. And me and Jerry talked about a case, and Jerry asked, do you have someone that keeps pushing that forward? No. And it's one of those that I don't think about till Jerry asked me about it. But this procedure I'm going to put in place is going to fix that. It's going to close up some more cracks that we're always trying to close up. Because there's going to be dailies. The dailies are going to go to the lieutenants. The lieutenants are going to check all their case numbers, see what kind of cases they are, and it's going to go right on up, and we're going to make sure that there's not a case, especially like that one where there was money taken, a forensic audit, and the audit got messed up with DPS, and it drug on and drug on. And
Most all of your cases have time constraints. And I don't think that they're being, it's not your fault, but I don't think they're being adhered to.
well,
Because we had, and I hate to compare SAPD to you, but we had a sergeant on our ass whenever, we had a sergeant on us when those time constraints weren't met. So we had to stay on top of our cases. And your guys, aside from this case that they inherit today, they've got other things to do tomorrow. And this case kind of gets pushed back, and
it's true. Then you end up with a homicide, and you're on homicide, and then that takes you away, and then about the time you get all your reports generated and all those things you need for that, and then something else pops up, and then you got one sitting over here.
so you do need somebody that whose job is to monitor those, the time constraints, the deadlines, and call whoever it is, call Randy and tell him, hey, you need this for this case tomorrow.
We're busy.
The only question I had on the restructure, I understand, you have how many on the street deputies right now, do you know? Top of your head?
Believe it or not, there's 54 sworn police officers at the sheriff's office. And that's everybody. So
That's everybody, okay.
You got 5 shifts. All of them have 4, except for one has 3.
So you have, that includes you and the chief deputy
Everybody.
and everybody?
Bailiffs.
56,
54.
54.
54. So my only question on, and I understand having to have, because right now you have a lieutenant and a chief.
August 19th, I no longer have Donnie.
Right, I understand he's
Donnie
going to
couldn't be a
retire.
lieutenant on paper. They call him lieutenant.
All right,
I
but
can't
he's,
even write it in a report.
I understand that, but you have a chief deputy, and then you have Donnie, and then you have all the, or how does that work?
I have a chief deputy in the new structure. I've got 2 chief deputies.
Right?
This one over here, Chris, his drop down is the jail, dispatch, admin, training, firearms. There might be another one in there.
Okay,
Gilbert's over here, his drop down is the captain, and then the captain goes to the 2 lieutenants. Now each one of those will work cases, they're all gonna have to investigate. Tommy Grimes will be a captain. He will also work homicides and all those serious type crimes. So it's not that they're gonna be somebody that's gonna sit over here, they're gonna be working also, but they're gonna be responsible. When I ask him for those monthlies that these dailies turned into by the lieutenants, then they're gonna go to monthlies to him, then I get to see the monthly of what we're doing and what we're not doing.
and what will Gilbert be doing?
Overseeing all of that.
Okay,
What will I be doing?
overseeing everything.
No, I'm still busy.
I know.
We,
No, well, that's your job, is
we're
to-
not big, but we, we used to be in a little building and we all sit on top of each other. We knew what each other's doing. Now you gotta find people down hallways and things, which is a good thing, but we have grown. And then when you take the jail and all that goes with the jail, I'm involved in that with Chris, and we've got a really good jail administrator and a lieutenant over there. Frank worked his tail off, I guess, trying to put together numbers for dispatch whenever you get to that. Show the years, just the increased number of calls that they handle. We're on track to beat last year. Last year it was 40,784 calls that dispatch answered.
So you're asking for 6 new deputies and then realignment of positions already in-house to these
Already
positions, right?
in-house.
Huh?
Already in-house.
Yeah, people already in-house, so
Yeah.
what you need is 6 new people, not,
I need 6 new people to put on the streets.
right,
On the street.
yeah.
I've got one that I'm gonna have to, within, is gonna go over to probably 6 crimes.
And you're gonna have to have a 7th when Donnie leaves, technically,
Yeah.
because you got that,
Got a new position.
you got that position coming open, and you're gonna
Yeah.
move somebody into
Into that, which is just a sergeant.
2 lieutenants or sergeant or whatever, and.
Well, Donnie's is actually, he's paid
Okay.
what a sergeant's paid.
Okay,
So the difference between a patrol deputy and a sergeant is what I want from a sergeant to a lieutenant. And then I want it, what I'm asking for is twice that much for a captain.
okay,
If that makes sense.
it does. It does now, I didn't quite understand it, so
Well,
that's,
I wrote it and I read it, and I'm like, I don't really understand it either.
okay, well then, I don't feel so bad. What else? So, that would mean, Keith, that just 6 new people would be 6 new cars, along with how many replacement cars?
I would like to try to stick with that money for 8 or 9 vehicles.
We've got
Well, we-
all of the.
We're about to do the 20.
I guess what I'm saying is, right now, you have 800,000 or something, which was the budget for the 10 vehicles, 9 vehicles, whatever it is. Edward, do you have that?
Yeah, it's on that.
Okay. And so I'm trying to figure out what that number has to go up to add.
We're not going to over 2010, right?
Almost to the 2010s, and now we've got all of those Explorers that came to, I mean, you got all that. It's-
So right now, there's it's 814 is what's in there, but it's 772 and 27, so it's almost 800,000 we have for equipment sitting in the
If we
budget.
stick with that, we're probably gonna not
You're-
get, well, I mean, just off of what I read y'all a while ago, I don't know what to expect on pricing. I'm thinking it's gonna.
What I probably need to see from you is y'all used to give me a list of all your vehicles, it had all your mileage on it,
We have it.
how old they are.
It's updated.
I need that.
It's updated.
So then we can figure out what needs to still be replaced along with new vehicles for whatever new
Well,
officers.
we just got rid of 7 at Newton's.
7 vehicles?
Yes.
Were they
Y'all should
just-
have seen the check.
How much was it? Do we
They
make?
averaged about 4,500 apiece.
Oh, man.
Some of them we hauled, some of them we drove.
Were any of them worth recycling through these other departments that are requesting vehicles?
Or maybe giving them to Lynch?
If they, this is almost anything.
You know,
Somebody else first.
he'll take anything,
The
okay?
ones that went to the auction were not recycled.
Yeah.
They
Well,
were
that's
not,
both West Roads.
yes.
All right,
Are you asking if we're asking for 6 new deputies, so those would get 6 new vehicles on top of the 8.
well, but then we gotta figure out what vehicle, how many we wanna replace. So if you did 6, you still got probably 6 more cars at least, so you're looking at 12. If you replace 6 vehicles, but we kinda need to look at what's,
I don't think we've done that in the past, that's why we've only got 9 vehicles or 10 vehicles, and regardless of how many deputies we got.
well,
those
no, in the
vehicles-
past, we always, every new deputy is valued at $130,000 because you gotta buy a vehicle for the deputy.
That's
And then we just decide what cars we're gonna replace. That's how we've pretty much done
They
it.
just go in that number like a car.
Yeah, it usually fell in there.
That's
This time
right.
We're gonna budget for 9 plus.
Well, we're gonna budget for, let's just say we budget for 6 deputies, all right? That's 6 cars. Now we need to figure out how many more cars we gotta get to replace the cars that need to be cycled out, those that have 150, 175,000 miles on them that are junk, we need to get rid of. Or give them to Lynch.
Hey, they dealt
We
with some-
hey, we made it to Dehennis. We could have just went right over your yard.
We have one that we definitely park in front of the courthouse.
Yeah.
They won't
Well,
go in.
and I was just gonna say, it probably isn't a bad idea for that amount of money, if it runs, to go park one in front of the courthouse just for the meantime, so it looks like there's something there.
We don't even have one of those right now.
I actually thought about that when Judge Klaus was talking earlier.
Yeah.
Randy, I even brought up something the other day when you're here, and I referred to, this is a sheriff's call. The other day when these schools were in here, both of them said, give us a year and we'll start going in on our own. You know, just how big we're gonna finally get the sheriff's department if we gotta follow. We got schools coming up, and they're gonna want more and more and more. Now we get an email from Natalia, they want several resource officers. I guess you got that email too. They're going, okay, we can't.
Well, they gotta,
We're to a point right here with this budget, we can't.
well, in their budget, they gotta look at a police officer being at their school the same as they do a teacher or a coach. It's gotta be
Exactly,
part of their.
I agree. I told Chris, I said, we can fund them 1 year with these 6 people, but you're gonna have to be in the middle of this. You're the one in charge of it. We'll take care of them for 1, let them have their year, and let them do their own thing.
Well,
Cindy and Natalia,
Natalia's the only people who even keep stirring the pot. They're the only ones calling. Only ones. Nobody else. I've talked to Martha or Medina Valley, said, we're good.
I just had lunch with him.
Yeah, we're pretty good.
With
Cindy and Natalia.
which one, Eric?
Yeah, it's just, he
I saw him yesterday, he didn't seem to be too pushy about it.
I talked to him, I said, look, I'm gonna ask for some deputies, I ain't asking for y'all, because I need to try to keep
exactly,
I need to try to keep these knuckleheads from getting in the school.
exactly.
And, he said, oh, no, I understand that, so we'll see if this, cops grant comes through and helps us out, but
Right.
we can't count on it, we need to plan it.
So,
Like I said,
here's,
both of them mentioned it, and I'd say, let them have it. We'll do it one year, that costs us $1 million. And that way you'll have all these officers, resource officers, I see them on the street. You'll have a good team for next year, you'll have everybody we need. If you can squeeze through one more year. I'm just trying to make this thing work for everybody to keep these taxes down, because this budget is gonna be a ripper.
Yes, I know.
so the question I have that probably is just, if we could give you everything, we would give you everything,
No, I understand.
all right? If you had a stack rank, what's more important to you, deputies versus IT versus, you asked for dispatch, animal control,
IT, I have a deputy that I could use as a deputy that's full-time IT. That's why I
Right.
put that in there. That's all Tony does.
that's Tony. I know Tony is currently your IT guy, so.
He is.
Tony's bright, he's very intelligent.
So I guess what I'm saying is you know,
But-
in all the manpower you asked
I
for,
would live with that one if I had to.
okay,
I would leave it like it is, and he's utilized every now and then as law enforcement. That's usually when there's a criminal person, and that's
Right.
kind of his expertise. But otherwise, he is gonna have to take everything that Keith did. Keith was a lot of our IT, and he's gonna have to take all of that soon, or most of it, right?
All of it.
Program radio,
All of it.
all that stuff. So he's gonna get a whole bunch dumped on him that Keith took on. So it's a deputy's position that someone else could fill.
have we already taken the 2 part-time dispatchers and created one?
Yes.
We already did that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have now 3 full-time dispatchers, right?
What?
How many dispatchers do you have?
Not 3.
We need 2 more.
We need 2 more.
Right,
We requested 2.
right.
Take the 2 part-time, make that 1.
And then,
It's hard to get part-time, and then another
and
position.
then 1 more, so you want 3 total then?
I'm really working toward trying to have a 911 call taker.
Okay.
That's all they do. And it's busy enough. I left it in my truck, but I had a sheet that was nothing but 911 calls. So that person can answer a 911 call and not have to be talking to someone about a loose cow or, so they do all that now.
Yeah,
Maybe they're trying to get air life off the ground and they got another call coming in because someone's having an argument or disturbance, and so they try to balance all that out. So we have the setup now. I don't know, have y'all been over to the new dispatch?
No,
I have,
Y'all come over and look at it,
for
because
sure.
you'd have to travel a long, long ways to find a better setup, thanks to y'all. Dispatchers it's really nice. It's real nice.
It looks like it's special when you walk in there, all those TVs all over the wall.
Those countertops go up and down, if they want to stand or sit. It's got monitors. It's really cool.
I'm telling you, on January 1, when I'm gone, it's gonna become a sports bar, okay? Just for a
Judge has
day,
been in there.
just for a day. It's got more TVs than I could live in that thing watching
Super
football.
Bowl day, huh?
No, it's January 1st got all the bowl games.
Bowl game.
Yeah. So go ahead, I'm sorry.
Clarification of what, and then you go to this, which it is, he's asking for 2 more in the new budget. Y'all combined the 2 part-times into 1 already.
Right.
So there's 2 more. Number 3 is done when you combine the 2 part-times a couple of weeks ago.
We need 1 more. We still need 2 more.
In his new budget, he's requesting 2 dispatchers.
And, yeah,
Over and above the
We're going.
2 part-timers that are now
That's
1.
Correct. The problem was that they didn't have any commitment out of the part-time people. He needs full-time people where you've got commitment. So we get them in there.
So-
now we got it.
Running back down, I'm just gonna run down all the people the deputies, the 6 deputies, the 1 IT person, the patrol clerk, a maintenance person, 2 dispatchers, and another animal control. If you had to stack rank, what is more important to you?
6 deputies,
Okay?
patrol clerk,
Okay?
rank structure.
Okay, I'm not even, yeah, that's, okay.
I will give up
I'm not saying you have to give it up. I'm just asking you to give me your ranking, so I
got one maintenance guy,
yeah,
and it's a big building.
I know.
Yeah, trustees?
Sir,
Yeah, trustees.
I have trustees. They do a lot of the mopping and stuff. And then I have a custodian. So I would give that up if I had to.
Okay.
And then the animal control, man, them poor guys, get in the truck with them, they run.
Talk about animal control, that bull you wanted, the horns, it's ready for you to come get.
Oh, thank you.
I'll to you. Whatever you want to do.
I'm gonna come get it.
He's a good one.
And if you want 3
We
foxes,
killed
that's
Hoffman,
where you
we
can
killed
go.
Hoffman bull.
No, that's a dead one. I told him to tie the head to
He's-
the tree.
You killed it?
No, I watched him shoot it.
Oh, he shot it.
Yeah, he said, yeah, I called his animal control, said, you find somebody else come get that bull. We done had it over here once. But
Big bull?
he ready. Yeah, he's a big one.
So keep going, I'm sorry. Dispatch,
Animal control would be, I guess, the bottom one that I could,
okay.
those guys are just fighting to do what they can do, but
Did you shoot it?
the main thing is the deputies, the patrol clerk, because that's gonna help me keep them on the road instead of in the office.
Okay,
We're almost where we probably can't do all of our reports in our vehicles, but then they have to come in, they have to put them in a certain order. And now, you don't even put them in a certain order, you gotta take all these files and you gotta scan them into that report because everything is e-filed with the DA's office. There's no paper going over there.
okay. Perfect. So, we actually, on the first budget run, we're 900,000 to the positive and without all these changes, but we were quickly to the negative, quick, but anyway.
I should've came first.
You should. No, it doesn't matter. It's, I just have notes of what everybody has told me so far, so you're good.
Yeah, he hasn't even got to us yet.
And this, if we can.
Hey, y'all are on your own. Just go
And
figure.
Sheriff, I just wanted to clarify, I don't know if I misunderstood you, that COTS grant, it can't be used for SROs. If we get that
We're not
grant.
gonna use it for that.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. 'Cause
Oh,
I
yeah, so-
and maybe I misunderstood something you said.
How hard is it for you to even hire 6 deputies?
I've got probably 3
Really?
now that would like to come over from other
Okay.
agencies. And then we go to the academy. We've
Okay.
hired several straight out of the academy. It's really, it's kind of worked out good because they don't have somebody else's way of doing things. So they get to learn
Teaching
instead
yourself.
of trying to break them. So
Is that like ACOG, one of those places? Or?
usually it's U-Valley, but it could be any cognitive. Usually we go to, over there, go to graduation,
Yeah.
hand out some cards. This, we're gonna need to move on.
Most of the ACOG, when I used to do their graduation, most of them had jobs when they walked across the stage.
Most of them do there.
Yeah.
Some don't, and some in Uvalde do. Some are sponsored and they're going back to, usually there's, half of them are going to Eagle Pass.
Okay.
So
What's the timeline on that?
the sooner the better. So we're gonna move on it ourselves. We're gonna have it as law enforcement. We're gonna go on the 11th or 12th to Bear County, and we're gonna go through the class so we can instruct others on how it all works.
So all they got to do is sign up.
Yeah, all we gotta do is get them, tell them, sign on,
Yeah,
this
sign up.
many, this many, this many. They don't care who they are. They just need a number. This is how many we want signed up. And I think this number is really pretty accurate. There's some churches talking about getting on it and some of the private schools, but they're talking about, they're pretty small. They're talking about they'll pay for it themselves. Once we do this setup, that's the 2,000. I think all they gotta do is pay the 94 cents.
Does that software package that we talked about this morning, going into 911, does that make dispatch more efficient? Does it even affect the number of people that have to work there, or does it have any, you know what I'm talking about?
It's not more accurate, but not more
Because I thought they told me that you could actually call 911, and if nobody was available in his place, they may answer it in Midland.
Well, that's, they gave that as an example, but all that means is before, the only thing sheriff could do is transfer to Bandera County. If our system goes down, Bandera gets our calls, you have to flip a switch. With the new system, the 911 system can say, we just had a tornado that took out Ventura County and Medina County, or weather
Sure.
activity, they can take those PSAPs and transfer them to Arizona and say, they got all this available room, they're gonna answer phones here. It's
So that would only happen in emergency cases, not on a daily basis to where you,
yeah, it's not their, yeah, they're not gonna answer.
Should be seamless, it just out.
Okay.
You don't even know, besides they're answering your 911 call in Arizona.
But it's one big
I
mesh
understand.
network now that a computer click, you can say, send the Medina County calls to that PSAP.
okay,
That's really what the
so
tech.
back up. It's not like all the PSAPs will be connected on a daily basis. Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions?
No.
Sheriff?
I appreciate y'all's time.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Hey, you ready?
Tell your SROs, thank you for what they're doing out there for me.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
It's a
start
blessing
with
to
school,
see.
you'll see all of us, so we're gonna be there, we're gonna try to make it as good as we can.
Good. Good, good, good. Well, Constable, you're up.
See what happens when you're late to the last.
You're not least, but you are last. So,
Those are impressive numbers. That's impressive numbers.
I'll hand y'all some information that I printed out.
okay.
I think I'll give you mine further.
Man, you got the good paper. What's up with this?
That's all I had left.
What kind of copier does he have here, man?
One for all y'all.
Do you have one for you?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
That's what we have is all numbers and all. Looks like you've done quite well.
Okay, so I'm here mainly to discuss a salary increase for myself. I've put some data together from when I took office from 2013 to current, and my agency has had 2,937 traffic stops. Out of those traffic stops, we've had 2,283 actual citations, and the rest were warnings. I did some revenue by requesting out to information
Okay,
from
help me out. Where am I looking at that number on here?
Right here,
bottom left,
Huh?
bottom left,
bottom left.
Bottom left. That's, okay.
the peach color.
Yeah, you got it.
Peach.
Those are all my
Okay.
traffic citations from when I took office.
Okay.
And if you look over to the right, under revenue since 2015, that's all the data that I could come up with since the system's changed over. We've brought in civil process fines or fees of $34,000, that's combined with JP's office. And citations, the fines that have come in has a total of $328,000 since 2015. That number's more close to $400,000 because I don't have any data for 2013 or 2014. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. I mean, we're out there. We're not sitting there running traffic, speed traps or anything like that. It's just things that we run across as we're patrolling for the community. The citizens always ask me to go out there and patrol their neighborhoods, and they appreciate it. So we just continue to do that for our community. And then across the top here is I put together all the salaries just to show the increases from commissioners, JP, sheriffs, and constables all the way down. And I just wanted to bring that to your attention, how there's, if you go look at the constable side in 2013, I believe it is, or 2014, we had a 14% increase, which is great. I really appreciated that. But you can see through the rest of those, there have been significant differences between the years across the board on everybody. If you look at the very bottom, increase since 2010, 2011, you have an increase of 22.7 for commissioners, 20,000 for JPs, 30,000 for sheriff, and 12,856 for the constable. So I just wanted to highlight that to bring some data to you so I can show you that I'm looking for a preferred salary of $48,500, and I bring my travel allowance up to $19,000 from $17,500 where it is currently now. You can see my salary is currently $33,211.
Is that on this page somewhere?
Right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm moving quick. Sorry about that.
No, I'm still stuck up. I'm up in the upper left corner already. I'm still there. I'm not moving.
He has not posted.
Okay.
And-
Sorry.
And that salary equates to $15.97 per hour. If I was to get the request I'm looking for, it'd bring me up to $23.32, and I feel that I've definitely earned it. You know, I do go out there, I don't work just 9 to 5, I work all kind of random hours from Monday through Sunday. I volunteer my time to a lot of the events in Castroville. My deputies are a big help when it comes to a lot of the courts that we have. And I have a list of all the deputies that work for me as well. I'm not going to give all this information to you, it's just too thick of paperwork, but it breaks it down by each officer's written citations and how much money that officer's actually brought in on those traffic citations. And that's why I just lumped it all together under citations of $328,000 in, 7 years?
What was it?
We've brought in $328,000 in fines in 7 years. And we're only, in June, we're about to start in July, and my numbers are going to keep going up. I mean, nobody obeys the law, sheriff knows that, nobody cares anymore. They just haul butt everywhere, we're at stop signs, cut people off. I get people asking me, what can you do to get these people to slow down? It's like, what we do, we go out there and we try, but they just go out and repeat violate. You know, it's hectic for everybody. And we'll keep going out there and doing what we can do to slow them down. There's too many fatality accidents happening, too many traffic accidents. Sheriff's office is strapped thin, they can't be out there all the time.
Well, we know you're driving, so we got it right here.
Right?
We know you're driving around, 'cause we got it here. The order to put this
The
together.
auditor gives a list of what's going on in the county, and it's quite, I'm not going to say impressive, it's kind of disturbing. How does any constable work for 4 or 5 months straight without driving 1 mile? Are they doing all this on phone, or? I mean, it shows right here in the report, 0.
They just don't turn in a report.
Huh?
They just aren't turning in a report.
No, they're turning it in, they're not putting mileage on it.
Yes, they do submit a report. but
They're turning in a
They're not
report.
putting mileage on the report, because he's got other things.
They're not doing nothing else anyhow.
I guess if we look at it, let's say he's got 9 civil process, 23, 3 court hearings, and 0 miles, so he's just not putting mileage down.
Right, so how do you do these without driving? You're driving, you're just not.
I know, he's not reporting his mileage, is what he's doing.
Well, the thing is, they're not doing nothing else either.
So,
Well,
That's my problem. Well, you know, here we got, it's just really, he is my first call of offense, but he is called by my secretary or somebody daily. And it shows that he's showing up and going to work, just the citations alone. It's just, you're doing a lot of work.
I enjoy it. I mean, I'm
You're
not gonna
doing
stop,
a lot of work.
that's for sure. I'll keep doing what I'm doing.
What bothers me over here on the increase side of it, all you've taken other than one time, it looked like COLAs. That's the only increase you're getting over here. When all the other departments have got other increases. See over here. That's the percentage you've been getting.
thanks for helping me read this, okay?
He did not coach me on this, I swear.
I'm just
He gave me this thing here, I didn't even see this bottom stuff here.
Okay.
We do know what fuels cost, it's eating all our lunch.
It's part of the game for us.
Uh,
It's just the way it goes.
You know, he brought in $250,000 worth of citations. Quite impressive.
Thank you.
And he is not out there running radar traps, I assure you.
This is just, we go out and we patrol, and every day, I mean, it doesn't matter, multiple times a day, I mean, sheriff's deputies, they all see it. People just fly past you, they don't care, flat out just don't care.
believe me, I see it while we're trying to work on roads. People fly right by us
And we can't be everywhere, you know. We patrol not only precinct 2, we'll patrol everywhere, you know, so we're not just gonna stay in precinct 2.
You know, I have heard some of these people that are in office now as constable, during their campaign, listen to their speech. It's a bunch of bullshit. They ain't done nothing. I've listened to them. I have faith in them. It didn't happen.
Now,
It's not happening.
I did jump around a lot I apologize for that. But I did want to touch, I did look at surrounding counties, constable salaries, and that is kind of in the center. Under constable salaries, Comal, Kerr, Atascosa, Bender, and Bear.
I actually have it right here in front of me because I've looked it up too.
You have the same thing?
Well-
Pretty well same thing?
I have this thing called a salary survey
Okay.
for 2022.
You
So
should actually get a copy of that.
Huh?
Could have saved me a lot of work if I could.
That's over $68,000 every other
I'm trying to
year.
read all these county budgets.
I just got it in with, Jennifer, when did this come in? Oh, wait.
I don't know, Judge.
Where'd you go?
I don't know, she got started.
She left a long time ago.
We got it.
What, does she gotta go get a facial or what?
I think so.
It came in Monday.
Okay, so what's that?
This came in Monday?
Yes, it came in Monday.
Well, there you go, I just got it.
What is this, average? You got
That's
that?
us.
You can get that off.
That is him right there. And that is Kendall plus a vehicle, Kerr plus a vehicle, Atascosa. I didn't show Atascosa on here to have a vehicle. Wilson's pretty
Okay,
low.
now that's the salary
They got a
plus his travel.
plus a vehicle.
No, him.
So in their case,
That number you got up.
that's his salary plus
Plus the vehicle.
plus travel expense.
Yeah.
Because that's basically what IRS reports to you, because your travel comes out as taxable, right? Yeah, I mean, it's the same as all of us.
Every 2 weeks. after
So,
tax.
so yeah, that's.
Well, like I say, I have been behind him, I have been dead behind the sheriff, ever since I set foot in there, and I'm gonna have to stand behind my constable, and if I have to go to vote on it, I'm asking for preferred salary.
We gotta check into that.
Can I ask-
How do we, I don't know. Go ahead.
Can I ask a couple of questions?
Yeah, go ahead, that's what we're here for.
Wait. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, did you know what the salary was when you ran for the position?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay.
Just like
Question
everybody.
I had about salary. And,
So did Randy, so did she, so did you, and we all, look where we're at now.
Yeah, well, you
That
can't.
kind of blows that question.
Hold on,
No, it doesn't, Larry.
hold it.
I asked a question and he answered.
Okay, good enough.
The reports that they give us, it shows miles doing. And I appreciate the fact that you're out there doing what you're doing. Although it's not one of the requirements of the constable, according to the CCP. Basically, you're an officer of the court. But, I appreciate what you're doing out there in law enforcement because the CCP also says you're a peace officer. And you're doing what a peace officer does. You have 4 units?
Excuse me?
You have 4 units? In your
Patrol cars.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
you do, okay. And your mileage or your vehicle maintenance, whatever, travel, is $1,458 a month. It's not enough.
Yes, sir.
It's twice what I get and $400 and something more than Larry gets. We drive every day as well. I figured just kind of gets, and the reason I've got this is because my constable's been over talking to me about the same thing that you're talking about. And he hadn't been back in a while because I showed him some math, he didn't like it. For $1,458 a month, if the gas, and I'm assuming everything you've got is gas,
Correct.
you can purchase 324 gallons of fuel a month. And if I was to drive, if I was to put that in miles per gallon, let's say you get 20, which is not that good. That's 6,480 miles that you could drive on that much fuel. And that more than covers all 4 units for miles.
Just pays for fuel.
That's right.
Doesn't pay for my commercial insurance that I have to pay. That's $358.
For 4 vehicles, you only need to pay for one because it's one constable.
I have 293,000 miles on one car, which is on its last leg. I keep pushing it as long as I can.
Well,
Things happen. I mean, I understand your questions.
okay. And, and myself personally, out of the $700 a month I get for fuel, I feel kind of bad about taking it because at $4.50 a gallon, I've got to run 4,030 miles a month to use that up, and I don't do it. And I feel bad about taking the $700 because I don't use $700 a month. I bought one set of tires
You know, and I changed all the laws, so that, you know, it's not that big a deal for me. And I think that what I'm getting more than covers it. But compared to Bear County, that's a different animal altogether. Some
I
people went
totally
here
agree.
compared to Bear County the other day, and we're not Bear County.
No, I totally agree.
And as far as what you're doing is over and above what it's called for in the job description.
My citizens ask me, so I go do what they ask me to do. I mean, it's by choice.
Yeah, by choice.
I love what I do and I want to get reelected.
Yeah. Okay, that's about all I have.
No problem.
Can I comment?
Can I ask a question, Judge?
Yeah.
Can constables, we have 4 precincts, can they be paid different salaries?
That was gonna be my question.
I have, it's funny you say that because I have that written down here as a question that I don't know the answer to.
The reason I ask is because Jim and his guys are the only ones that are working, period. So,
Yep.
I suggested a while back, I think Gary and I had a conversation that these constables turn in, I don't care if it's bi-weekly or whatever it is, showing what they do. And it would help y'all make a decision about how much fuel they should get or shouldn't get. But they're the ones that are out there that will show up on call with us in the middle of the night.
We've got monthlies, Randy, but I think we've only got 2 or 3
From all of them?
no, not from all of them.
Actually, I think we had the auditor's office kind of break this down. You may want to give the sheriff a copy of it just so he can know what we're looking at. But your precinct 2 is the only one that's written citations.
Yeah.
They're it.
And we don't budget for that as income. We don't include that in our budget.
No, we don't. It's just that he's the only one out there that's doing, like the sheriff said, that's doing more than just what a constable should do. So,
Right.
and I did write that note down because we'll have to find out that answer to see if that can be adjusted.
Now, what I've seen, Randy,
Disproportionately.
for all the other budgets that I've looked at with other agencies, almost all the constables are getting paid the same.
Same.
Yeah, they're pretty close.
That,
With the exception of Van Buren, they're about $6,000 different.
there lies the problem. I don't know if that's law or kind of what,
He's
because
talking about individual.
And I'll find that out before we finish this budget. I do intend to find out if that is, if that's an option. No, I totally agree with you, and I don't know the answer to that.
So we're having to decide what we're gonna fund a position of an elected official, not an individual person. And when you've got one person, elected official, out of 4 that's maybe doing way above and beyond, how do you compensate them for doing that extra work? How do you reward them for the extra they're doing?
Yeah.
And when you're not elected at some point in the future, possibly, then where does that salary go? I mean, is it your salary or is it a position's salary?
It's kind of interesting as I look at this salary survey. They do have, in some cases, 2 sets of numbers. I mean, in one county, the constables are making, it looks like, let me find, where was I just looking at that one? Oh, 34,000 down to 17,000. I don't know if that's
Based on what, I wonder?
I don't know. I just am seeing 2 different salaries.
That would be somebody that doesn't have any experience to start at the lowest rate versus somebody.
It's elected officials.
Through constable training, we run into constables that are by themselves out in the middle of nowhere. They don't have a JP court. They just have a building and they go have meetings, and they're the ones that get paid
Yeah.
the least.
Stark County, it ranges from 31.9 to 36.9. So there's a $5,000 difference. And that might be answering your question.
just because it's in Stark County, don't mean it's right.
Okay,
I'm just saying.
I did not find one that's not in the valley. All right, I don't know where the heck Bowie County is. That's west of Fort Worth, right? West of Fort Worth?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they'll call them Louis, Texas.
yeah.
Well, George, could you compensate it with a stipend?
We could, well, we can figure that out. That's something we'll just have to, we're not making decisions today, we're just talking about it, so we will figure that out. Anybody have any questions?
By no means am I trying to start my own police department or anything. I just go out there, I patrol, People are breaking the law, well, guess what? They deserve a ticket. I mean, that's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
You know,
We're
when
a
I'm
little
out
bitty
serving
precinct
papers,
with a
I
lot of cars.
write tickets. On my way to serve papers, people are breaking the law, I pull them over, write a ticket. I could just sit on 90 all day long and not move and run speed traps, but I don't want to do that. I can't sit still. I have to keep.
You do traffic control at the school?
Do I?
Yeah.
Over on 3.
Your predecessor used to be at the
We
school.
ain't done that in years.
I was, if I ever wanted to find Mike, I'd just go to the school at 8 in the morning or
7:12.
at 7:12. Is that what he said?
Airport picture of that now.
7:12.
I'm just curious. It was
Quick funny note, he called in on dispatch, he ran somebody, dispatch calls him back and says, is your radio secure? Meaning, don't let whoever you're talking to hear, because you're wanted. He calls back to dispatch and says, oh yeah, it's screwed through the hump.
another story. When I used to live up at the other place, I'd work out at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'd come down that hill in Rural Medina at 5:30 in the morning, and Mike was always sitting there. And sometimes I'm not paying attention, I'd be speeding. He'd pull me over. Chris, what are you doing? I said, Mike, I'm going to work out. I'm the only person on the road. I'm sorry. And then he goes, okay. He'd pull out his big old, he'd always have about 50 cars. He goes, I have a friend, and he needs your help. And he would start, on the side of the road, he'd go through every car. Oh, this one. Okay. I have a question for him. So then I was like, so much for getting to work out on time. I'm freaking 20 minutes on the side of the road with Mike trying to give legal advice now. So I think he would look for me so he could get his free legal advice at 5:30
He knows
in the
when you're
morning.
going to work out.
He knew I was going to work out. God, he was funny. There's a lot of Mike stories. But anybody have any questions?
No, I just want to let Jim know that I have no problems with what you're doing. When you compare the duties of office with what you're doing, it's way over and above.
Yep.
And if you compare the duties of office with your salary, I think you get paid adequately. But when you go over and above and you're bringing in hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue, that's something that True Hearts thinks that we need to compensate, and I guess we'll end up compensating.
I appreciate the question.
In my opinion, I think they need compensated well. And I think one of the JPs even called it this morning a part-time job. I don't know if it is or not. You can make it full-time. So that's where I'm kind of sitting.
All right.
But I'm just one person.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Let me show you something.